What's up guys, Lifting here. In this video I'm going to talk a bit about the starter build that I will be doing for 3.0. What I want to do with this build is to make a safe build because I'll be playing in hardcore. I want to make a build that can reliably farm Uberlab so I can generate some good currency. And I want a build that's easy to get going from the get-go. And for that I've chosen to go with something like a champion Warchief bleed build. Now I'm a little unsure about the bleed part. Bleed is still a little random and untested in the current state of the game, but the fortunate thing is that I can always spec out of that later. But I want to try incorporating the new keystone, stack bleeds, and then use Warchiefs to do that. And the reason I'm choosing champion this time, normally I would be inclined to go chieftain just because you get leech from your totems and you get taunt. However, with this type of build here, since I'm gonna be scaling bleeds, which scales off fist damage, I decided then why not try doing that's just pure fist scaling and use the new brutality support gem and not rely on auras. So I'm going blood magic too. But let me show you the Ascendancy first here and the choices I've picked for this. First of all, Fortify, of course. This is gonna help us a lot in the lab. It's a great damage mitigation source overall, and it's just nice to have that permanently. The minor nodes here are pretty decent too. More melee damage when you're fortifying, more evasion rating and armor. Unstoppable Hero is of course just a nice boost overall to our damage and a little to our survivability too, I guess. Then I have Conqueror, and this is what made me want to go for the champion too. 25% chance to taunt on hit. This works for our totems, and since we'll be having two totems that fairly rapidly attacks, like it will sound something like this, dong 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 dong. I'm not too worried about having only 25% chance to taunt. They will, at least if we're doing something like Uber Isaro, he will be taunted pretty reliably, I'm sure. On top of that, it also makes us take less damage if we've taunted an enemy recently. And then we have Worthy Foe down here. Enemies you taunt take 20% increased damage. So it's a pretty significant damage increase too. For instance, if I remove these, you can see my total DPS over here is 324,917 per totem. If I remove these then it's 28,000. So it makes a nice difference, makes us a little more safe too, and I can probably rely on that taunt, which is so very valuable when you're doing Uberlab farming, because well, Isaro hits. I was about to say hits like a bitch, but that's a poor analogy. So my Ancestral Warchief setup is Warchief, faster attacks. You can use something else than faster attacks. You could use something like Maim or even Change to Bleed, which would probably give us more damage. The thing is, having fast attacking totems, it's still a nice damage boost, right? But it also helps with having more reliable taunts, and it just feels better too. Melee fists, concentrated effect, and for mapping I can use increased area of effect. Brutality, this means that we will have to rely on pure fist damage. We cannot use auras such as Hatred, Heralds, and what is it? There's a few like just flat added to our stuff. So that's why Bleed becomes like our secondary type of damage, because it scales off of fist damage. And then finally Ruthless. And I had a screenshot of Ruthless here, let me show you that. So with Ruthless, we're getting supported melee attacks have 30% chance to deal a Ruthless blow. It's pretty okay, it's a little unreliable, it's approximately every third hit. Ruthless blows with supported skills deal 75% more damage. That's quite a lot. And then there is the base stun duration that's increased to 0.8 of seconds. And because the Warchiefs are going to hit very hard, I'm actually thinking we'll be getting some pretty efficient stuns with this. but that's not why we're doing it, but it'll be a nice additional thing. If I can get myself a Combs Heart, that's going to help me achieve some very nice health numbers, which is going to make it significantly safer in the lab. One-shots is always one of the things you're really, really careful about in or when you're doing Uber lab. It is typically what kills you. So a Combs would be very useful, but a belly is going to be very nice too. The thing about the belly is that we have approximately 1,000 less life, but it also opens up for more skill setups. And because I'm using or want to use Perseverance, it actually gives a slight damage boost to use Belly of the Beast, because the way Perseverance works, among other stuff, is that you get 1% increased attack damage per 300 of the lowest of armor and evasion rating. So by having both armor and evasion in my setup, I can, based off the lowest of those, I can increase my damage via this. And with just this setup, I believe I'm getting around, I can't remember, I just checked it yesterday. I think it was around 17% increased damage. It's not much, right? But it's okay. But the main reason for Perseverance really is that you have Onslaught while you have Fortify. So permanent Fortify and permanent Onslaught if we use Perseverance. And obviously that's sweet. That allows me to use different flasks. I don't rely on the silver flask. It also gives 8% increased maximum life. So if we get the comb, it scales great with that. I'm also considering getting myself a Devoter's Devotion. It gives a little less fist damage, which of course is not nice, but it gives a ton of attack speed. It has evasion and armor again, and increased movement speed. It's very, very nice to have, and it helps with capping, or not, at least meeting the requirements of the dex requirements for skills and such. Obviously, my favorite weapon would be to get an Serious Disfavor, and that's for a few reasons. First of all, it has really, really good damage. It has decent attack speed, and it has bleeding on hit. Now, I believe I've seen somewhere that it's not guaranteed to cause 100% bleed on hit anymore, but I haven't been able to find that. If that's the case, I'll have to do a few things in my skill tree. I can still get to 100% chance to bleed, but I don't even need to get to 100%. But if it is, then that's nice. A Serious Disfavor is like your best in the slot here for sure. But until then, I'll probably just use something like Ulnitol's Embrace, or, you know, at the very beginning, such things as Hismana's Bloodlust or Combs Primacy. That'll be more than enough to get us rolling, and yeah. Other than that, I'm also using Witchfire Brew, Vulnerability, that scales great with bleed and upfront fist hits. And I'm using Alliance Roar for just more melee fist damage and some armor, of course. Other than this, it's pretty much just random rare gear that I will want to add to the build. And this leaves us at 326,102 DPS per totem. So I think that's going to be pretty good. The bleed DPS here, you kind of have to ignore that because we can't show it properly. In Path of Building, it can't calculate it properly with the Crimson Dane's Keystone, which is the new one, the thing that I will be trying out. And what it does is that you can inflict bleeding on an enemy up to 8 times instead of just 1. But you deal 50% less damage with bleeding. So if we remove this, you can see it increases by quite a lot, but we're not able to set it to like 8 stacks of bleeding. So my skill tree, I'll be starting here. It's pretty simple and very easy to follow if you want to. Starting as the duelist, so we can get that champion ascendancy. Going in and getting out of the gladiator, get some 2-hand nodes here. Or I should say I'll be leveling with Sunder. A 2-handed setup with Sunder until I can get Ancestral Bond and my Warchiefs. But basically, Destroyer into Golem's Blood, and then probably picking up a Wrecking Ball here for some attack speed and damage with 2-handed weapons. I'll leave out Crimson Danes for later. We're not really worrying about bleed at that time. The same goes for Rampart. Rampart increases the effect of Fortify. This is pretty powerful for just the 4 points here. I normally never pick this if I have to travel 2 points to get there and then pick up the rest. But for this, since we're passing through it, then this is a pretty significant boost. I'm kind of looking forward to picking that up for once. But anyway, there's no point in having this before you have Fortify. Blood Magic, I'll just pick that as soon as possible. The totem nodes you save for later once you pick up the totems, and then you simply just head all the way up here. There's no point in picking up Cleaving yet unless you already want to use axes from the early get-go, but I'd suggest you wait by that. Just use generic two-handed weapon nodes. But I'll move up here and then into Ancestral Bond. Once that's picked up and we're at least level 28, we can start using dual Warchiefs. And that's going to be nice. Very safe too. From there, I'll probably go up here, get some area of effect for them, just for the nice feel to it, and then pick up Totemic Mastery down here. And then probably Ironwoods. It feels pretty good unlocking the totem nodes after that. It's pretty simple, as you guys can see. It's a life-based build that scales fist damage with two-handed weapons and probably axes in the end. So very simple axe nodes, two-handed nodes, life, area of effect, and totem. And then you're good. And this is the build that I want to test out. I'm pretty confident that if you want to, you can follow this blueprint here, and I'll put the pastebin down in the description of the video. But just be forewarned, it is your responsibility to decide whether or not you want to follow this. It is untested. I don't know how good the bleed will be, but I think it will be pretty decent. If the bleed turns out to be absolutely crap, then it is as simple as just speccing out of these things. So, no big deal. Overall, Ancestral Warchiefs are probably, in my opinion, the easiest and most powerful build you can do in the beginning of a new league. It is so straightforward, and it's really, really hard to fuck it up. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you guys. I hope you are ready for the new league starting tonight. I'm very, very excited for it. I'm really looking forward to this. Also seeing the new acts, that's going to be sick. If you're still looking for build inspiration, I will link 2 videos below. I just released the day before yesterday and yesterday. There's 2 build videos down there you can check out too if you want to for inspiration. Come visit me on Twitch. I stream almost every day. The link is below in the description. Thank you for watching, and bros, do you even nerd?